welcome to Connect to Success with me, Ashley Owens, your personal networking concierge, where we interview the power networkers of the greater Philadelphia and South Jersey area. And I have the pleasure and the privilege of interviewing one of my favorite clients, Dr. Casey Bradley. Miss Casey, Dr. Casey, excuse me, Miss Casey. Casey, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, how are you doing? How's everything going so far?
Well, it's a whirlwind of busy but fun, and really enjoying the working for myself now.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's talk about that. So I know who you are and what you do, what makes you awesome, but I love my guests from their own perspective teach the audience more about what makes them amazing. So please tell us who you are.
So the easiest thing to say is I'm an animal nutritionist, and my job is to help feed the world. So I feed the world through feeding animals. That's how I'm trained, but I'm evolving into a different type of professionals to where I can mentor and give back to the younger professionals, help them develop skills that they need for their industry. Then while at the same time, hopefully working with companies to bring innovative solutions to our industry and help animals use less feed, use less antibiotics. Yeah. You know, we always talk about greenhouse gases and really work in that component of sustainability and bring valuable solutions to our industry.
So talk a little bit more about your mentorship programs. I know that you and I spoke about that, a couple times last few weeks, but I think what you're doing, especially around this particular industry, which is so niche, definitely doesn't have a ton of resources that you're able to provide. Can you go more into that?
Yeah, and maybe I should go back to kind of start out with the why. Yeah. Throughout most of my career, even when I got my master's and my PhD, I've had full-time jobs. So I've been working in the industry since I was 20, and we're an industry in agriculture that's very lean. We're always short-handed, short-staffed. It doesn't matter what component of the industry you're in. Personnel and qualified personnel is difficult to have. It's a short supply. And so it's a sink or swim kind of mentality that we have in our industry. You're thrown in, you learn as you go, and you don't get a lot of support sometimes through different companies. And, we're all trying to do better at that. We're trying to build better training programs, better employee development programs, but yet it comes down to time. And it doesn't matter what level, if you're an entry production farm manager working there, or if you're like me, a fresh PhD student coming out of school, there's a lot you have to learn on your own. And so I see the need in my industry. And then once even you're in a professional role, we get a lot of people who aren't even in agriculture that come into our industry that help us with marketing, supply chain, manufacturing, that wants to know more about our industry. And that's kind of the gap that I see within the animal nutrition and health space. And I'm hopefully filling that in. So I've created some different types of mentorship programs. The most fun one I have right now is I've partnered with Cottonelle Search and now Gestalt Technologies to help me have what we call Coffee and Careers in Animal Science, to where we put on a webinar series for students in animal science to help them navigate their career and make decisions on their career and talk about key things from, if you don't want to travel, what jobs do you want to look at and things like that. We don't have those conversations with our students. It's usually, you want to be an animal nutritionist or a veterinarian or a geneticist, and that's what you're going to be. But nobody talks about, you get those degrees, what you're going to become. And so we started that program here this fall. I ran a pilot program. Very excited that started. So that's one part of my mentorship program I have. The other ones, I'm offering mentorship programs to young professionals starting out to help them to kind of scale up faster into their careers. So we're just getting that started because I'm not going to do it all myself. I'm going to be partnering with some experienced consultants out there to help us really pair the mentee with the mentor and make that a successful relationship. Through that also, I'm offering different courses. So I'm starting to develop different courses to help your skills, refresh your skills, think of your skills differently than you did coming out in school, and give them those valuable, applied skills to have And then hopefully eventually we're going to create an internship program to where we can pair interns with the right companies and the right opportunities so they can get those much needed practical skills before graduation.
Where do you think you found the missing link? Like you were mentioning in the beginning that all of these programs are meant to help a industry that is very lean. So why, it's a two-part question. Why do you think it's lean? And then why did you feel the need that it was your responsibility to start these mentorship programs?
Well, lean, we are a commodity-driven market. We can't set our prices. Either you're selling a live animal, it's what the consumer is going to pay, so that, we can't be the cool Apple iPhone. It's, it's meat, it's food, so we have to be as affordable product as we can. And then, just the type of jobs within that, it's working in production. It's not the most glamorous. I definitely only look like this when I'm, in presentations and at meetings. And a lot of time it's hard work. And then it's long hours. And then even at the professional side of things, the majority of undergraduates coming into animal science programs at universities are veterinarian driven. And they're small animal veterinarian driven. But they don't take into consideration, the limitations or the amount of spots there are to become veterinarians. They don't get the good grades. And then they're left with, what do we do? And so there's a lot of talent that, is not being connected with the great opportunities out there. So in nature, it trickles all the way through the industry, either in production or even in the side that I work with in feed additives and animal health, that we're just running lean because of our customer base and the needs of our industry to keep food cheap for the people of the world, not just our consumers. But we have to feed the world. It's a great mission, but it's not the most glamorous and financially rewarding at times. But I just found the need through all my positions. I've done just about everything you can imagine in the swine nutrition or raising pork, or bacon. Everybody loves bacon, I guess. So just about every job, including making bacon, from the pig to the processing plant and putting it on your table. I've been involved in that, and I know through all those roles, just key mentorship opportunities, networking opportunities. And so why me? And I've always liked working with younger people. I thought I wanted to go into academia, just not a lot of roles in that. And then even I've worked in academia for 8 years as a research manager. And then since then with a lot of professors. I think a lot of times professors get stuck in their niche in their university and they don't know how to bridge that gap a lot of times. And since I've had the opportunity to work in academia and industry, I feel I have the best ability to bridge that gap and hopefully create solutions that is both beneficial to the academia institutions and then also the industry companies out there.
Where do you think you got your passion for this niche? Because what you're doing is very particular, and I think that there is such a need for it because, to your point, there have been a lack of resources and a lack of tools out there, and you've provided a system and a process and just even a community of people in that industry. And I feel like it's really important for people to recognize that you're starting from scratch in a place where it's not there's not a lot of quantity in that group. So my question for you is, I know it was important, but where did you get the passion for this? Because this isn't something that people, wake up and say, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to be either an astronaut or I want to work with bacon, So tell me how that moment got started.
Well, the passion for the industry and farming came from my father. Growing up, it was my farm. And, looking back, I didn't see it as much when I was a child, but you look back and you go through those memories, and I saw how my dad connected to different people, worked with people who he was a supervisor for, people in the industry. He always wanted to learn, he wanted to connect, He wanted to help. And all the people that worked with him or for him respected him. And you didn't notice that as a child, but I look back on it, and I learned a lot from my father, but I look back on the key traits he had, and those are the traits I respect and try to bring out myself. So it started early on in my life, the love of pigs. You know, they were my social media back in the day. Which pig did I go talk to, right?
Yeah.
So it started there, but then I had this amazing professor in my undergraduate career, and a lot of people would say the same thing about her, Dr. Gretchen Hill. She's retired now, but, you know, I wanted to be a veterinarian. That's the only job I thought I could do, or work on a farm with a college education, and she changed that direction for me. I didn't have to go thousands of dollars in debt for vet school, but at the same time, I get to do what I love.
Yeah.
I get to work with producers. I get to work with the animals, and I can bring, you know, solutions versus sometimes treating problems. And, you know, so it's really those two people in my life I have to give a lot of that credit for. But since I've been a professional, I can't tell you how many people in my network that's helped me. I mean, I could, you know, it'd take me all day to go through the list, but it's making those key relationships. And really in our industry, it's really unique. We all want to help each other. We could be competitors out there, but yet at the end of the day, we're friends. We'll help each other. You know, we can communicate. And that's, you know, I want to display that passion. I want to display that ability for, you know, we're all rooting for each other to help succeed. We're all in the same game together. And, you know, that's where I get my passion, and getting it from people I've worked with and my customers I've had, you know, my colleagues I've had, and just really giving back and finding a way to help our industry be even better.
What do you think has been, what is the one thing that people don't know about the swine industry? Somebody who's not a producer, somebody who's not in your position. What do you think people need to know?
Well, I think you need to know that a lot of us are very caring, loving, and passionate people about what we do. Good. We love our animals. You know, the welfare and the concern of our animals are at the forefront of everything we do. Yeah. Most of us live, breathe, and die our industry. It's part of us. It's not a job. It's a career. It's a passion. It's a lifestyle. And, you know, our goals are to feed the world, and that's really at the forefront of everything we do. And, you know, in every industry, everybody likes to look at the negative, but really you're probably going to meet one of the most hardworking, positive people out there trying to better this world every day by going to work.
So when we return, we're going to talk to Dr. Casey about her tactical tips and practical takeaways in networking, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Why buy local? When you shop with local businesses, you're spending your money on more than just the item you're buying. You're adding a building block to your neighborhood. It starts with a single purchase, maybe a cup of coffee, groceries from a local co-op, or even a shiny new bicycle from one of the nearly 28 million small businesses nationwide. Your money doesn't stay in the till for long though. Local business owners use the money to create a lot of economic activity in your neighborhood, like buying from suppliers, many of whom are also local businesses. Paying taxes to the city, which builds and maintains the infrastructure we all rely on. Employing local workers, contributing to 65% of the net new jobs each year. Add this all together and you've got a recipe for a happier, healthier, more connected neighborhood. Now that's an investment worth making.
Welcome back to Connect to Success. I am your networking concierge, Ashley Owens, where we talk to the power networkers of the greater Philadelphia and South Jersey area about their tactical tips and practical takeaways in networking. And I have the pleasure and the privilege of hanging out with Dr. Casey Bradley. Dr. Casey, so when we spoke in the very first half of the show, we really talked about the sense of community and the fact that, you know, I always talk about, especially with my clients, always find your community of weirdos. And what I mean by weirdos, I mean by like-minded individuals. And I think that there is a power and and a value in being around and having resources to really help a niche or a particular industry that's very, very lean, and you have done that. So going into that space, can you please tell people about how you've been able to kind of really transform this industry into a thriving business, and how your network has helped you get there?
Well, I can't say enough that your professional network, you live and die by it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I'm selling something or I've transitioned into this role of a mentoring and continuing education type of endeavor. But having my professional network has been the key to my success and my key to get out of the gate and be successful so far. And that's, relying on friends that you can trust to bounce ideas off from, friends advocating for you when you're not there, influencing the key decision makers. And that's really been critical. So my base network I had coming into this new endeavor, absolutely critical. And, but at the same time, with the mindset I have to continue to build my professional network. And, my network is around the world. So how do I keep building that? How do I connect? And especially in today's world, that's a different type of challenge, because I'm not in those conferences or trade shows with these people and being able to walk up to them and introduce myself to them or tell them what I'm doing. So getting the message out, getting people to be, for myself to be in the forefront of their minds when they need somebody that can help them out with a problem, that I'm there to provide that solution.
So in that space though, how are you nurturing that network right now?
So nurturing the network, I'm doing a lot on LinkedIn. So my presence on LinkedIn has grown a lot. I would say out of all the platforms of social media from a professional side of things, instead of maybe an image of the swine industry, LinkedIn is probably our go-to source for that networking ability, from sharing our research that we've done, sharing our ideas, and connecting with that. So I've, done a lot on LinkedIn. I've started a professional blog. And so that's how I'm nurturing that network. I'm finding key partners as well. So I mentioned the Coffee and Careers, Continental Search, and their network has really helped me build my network so I can leverage theirs and their abilities. And so with those key partnerships and finding with different companies and different people, that's how I'm leveraging it. And then also, I'm trying a new thing that starts here at the end of the month. I'm starting a podcast, and I'm going to be connecting with pork producers from all over the world. So the fact that I'm going to be speaking to different producers and understanding their situations and how I can bring solutions to them, they become part of my network. And then when they need something or, know somebody, they can feed their network into me because of that relationship. So, maintaining my core professional network and friends I have, finding, new ones, and then showing my expertise to the world is how I'm kind of nurturing my network and growing, and then leveraging key partners too.
And those key partners are usually the foundation of how a network thrives, right? So I know you and I have spoken about this, but what you're not only doing is you're building an audience, but or a fan base, you want to build an army. And these people are going to be the ones that are going to be advocating for you when you're not in the room. So who do you want to be as your sergeant? Who do you want to be as your general? Who do you want to be as your soldiers? And somehow those people kind of go in and out of those roles, but at least you've got an idea of the kinds of influencers or the people that understand the messaging and the message of that industry. So I think it's very, very powerful to have those groups of people. But your nurturing sequence is absolutely fantastic because, especially around the podcast, it's a perfect opportunity for anybody that's also in a similar position of as you are to really leverage the fact that you're giving. You're giving them a platform and an audience that's very similar to your own to help them grow their network and their audience and their soldiers and their army and whatever it may may be. But then you're also learning about the issues. And those issues can be then translated into a blog article or different services or even just trends in the marketplace that you weren't aware of, because even though you've done all of those positions, it's nice to be able to keep abreast of what's going on in the marketplace. So, I mean, a podcast is a fantastic way to educate yourself, to educate your audience and your army, and to really give somebody else a platform to share their knowledge and expertise in that area. I think it's brilliant what you're doing. If someone were to come to you and say, hey, Dr. Casey, I am starting my network from scratch. I just left my corporate job, very similar to your own story. I want to get into this swine industry. Where do I start? What would be the advice that you would give?
Well, first of all, I would send someone like that to you to teach them how to social network. I could have had an idea. You've helped, refine my skills, but somebody starting new, I think, the fact that they reached out to me would be a great resource, because I can send them to friendly people that can help them or give them advice,
right.
And create champions for them. I can steer them in the right direction of where to start. I help people no matter what. Yeah. So I do get a lot of people that ask me questions, help them get along. I've always done that in my career, and I'll still continue to do that.
You're a giver.
But it's really, you need to showcase your expertise. LinkedIn's a good source for that. You need to find a way to build your personal brand. And this started way back before I went on my own. I knew to be successful as an expert out there and to get those key doors open, I needed to be seen as the expert. So I created a personal brand marketing plan with my marketing manager when I was at AB Vista. And one of the main things I started was my column in Pig Progress. And so with my column in Pig Progress, I have people from all over the world that contact me because they see me as an expert. So building your personal brand, I see a lot of people building their personal brands on LinkedIn. I see them on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you are, you need to have personal brands. And then it was interesting that you kind of talked about your army. I think sometimes you get recruits without even asking. I've been noticing that with some of my students I've been working with. They're promoting me. They're helping me. So I think once you connect with the right people, and I wouldn't say always network or give everybody your time of day, but finding those key important relationships and building out from there, and then you'll really find the ones who help you flourish just as much as you help them. It takes a lot of time and effort to build a network. And it doesn't matter if you're in my type of role or just a young nutritionist or, professional in any career. Nurture your relationships, build them. You never know when you're going to need them again.
I think you are.
Most importantly, don't burn any bridges.
Exactly. And I think that you are the perfect example of somebody that knows what they're talking about. And would you agree with me in saying if you are a subject matter expert or if you believe that you're an SME in your field, do not be shy about it. Don't be shy, right? How many times have you seen somebody who is absolutely brilliant that cannot form their why and don't have the platform yet to be able to talk about that particular piece of their industry that makes the most sense for them? So, I mean, what kind of advice would you give to some of those students?
Well, exactly. As PhDs, a lot of us are introverts. As scientists, a lot of us aren't really extroverts or outgoing or know how, and we're not taught how to do that.
Right.
I'd say the younger generation on social media is a lot better than my generation or the older generation. But we're all experts in something, and just showcasing that and getting that out there. And I'd even say, even for a female more so than a male, it's even more difficult because it's natural for a male to show his expertise and be considered as an expert. It's even more difficult sometimes for females to do that. Mm-hmm. And I think we need to do that, and we need to support each other. And I think everybody either, if you're in a specific sponsored mentorship program or you go seek that mentor, find a good mentor that you fit with and have them help make you those experts and showcase your expertise. And a mentor is not about just teaching you or instilling more knowledge into you. It's about making you visible to other people and building you up. And so those are really key things to have early on, is to get some good mentors, even through friends or professional or, even paid mentorships. I'm still an advocate of continuing education. One of the things that helped me early in my career that my company made me take was the Dale Carnegie leadership program.
Yeah.
Best thing I ever did. To learn how to present myself in, an acceptable way, or to make myself shine my expertise and learn how to be that professional I need it to be. But yet I've paid for mindset coaches. I've paid for different coaches throughout my career as well, through my own money and taking my own time. So I think those are keys that you continuously learn. And I'm not just talking about what's the amino acid requirement for a pig, and some swine nutritionists will get that out there. But it's really, how do you present to yourself? How do you make yourself visible? And that stuff I have invested in my career to keep doing through coaches, webinars, paid mentoring, paid workshops, or training programs. If the company doesn't sponsor it or not, it's something I invest in myself.
So what is the ask? If someone were to help you with something or provide you with some value, what would you hope from your network to be able to help you provide? Or for them to provide help to you? Because you're such a giver in itself, and sometimes we don't ever ask. So what is the ask?
Well, my ask is, if you have anybody in your companies, any colleagues that you work with, anybody you're supervising that may need help in a specific area, or may need to learn about, not just the swine industry, but any livestock production type of industry, connect with me, reach out. We can build a program to help that person succeed. And then, if you have any opportunities for, you want an intern, you want some great talent, or you need an innovation project taken to the market, reach out to me, because I'm going to try to build that with helping mentor some students along, but while also creating, innovation solutions. So if you have a need that you don't have an employee for, or reach out. Or if you have an employee and they just need a little help to get started, reach out as well, because that's what we're here for.
So what is the best way for people to reach out to you?
The best way to reach out to me is visiting my website. There's a quick information form there that you fill out requesting to have a one-on-one consultation with me. So my website is thesunswinegroup.com. So my business name.com to reach out, or LinkedIn message is always good. I never turn down a person on LinkedIn, so message me there. Facebook, Instagram, you name it. On my website you'll find my email and phone number. I'm not gonna give that vocally, but it's on there.
Right.
But yeah, there's several different ways for you to find me and reach out.
Dr. Casey, thank you so much for being here today. I'm so thrilled that you came on the show. I think what you're doing is absolutely incredible, and I think that more people need to be involved with what you're doing. You're the go-to person in that space. I'm so thrilled that you were here, so thank you for coming on the show. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, everybody, for watching Connect to Success with me, Ashley Owens, 12:30 on Thursdays during your lunch break, where we interview the power networkers of the greater Philadelphia and South Jersey area. If you'd like to be on the show, please email Ashley at ashleyassist.com and hang out with me. Talk about your tactical tips and practical takeaways. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.